Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Flipper Flicks. I pray that you make it through this episode with us. And I'm one of your people, Adam.
People.
Whoa. He's a people.
I'm
He's
a people.
A people.
I'm a people.
One of your people. Did you hear that, people? He's one of your people.
I'm
He's
a
not
people.
one of our people. He's one of your people.
You can be their people, too.
I could. I'm Sam.
Could. Hi, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
I'm not one of your people.
She's
I'm going
the
to draw
supreme
that
person.
distinction right there.
Right there?
Right there.
That little twang came in for a
I know.
second.
It's tough to get rid of. We have social media, if you guys didn't know by now. We're going to tell you every episode anyway, just in case you have been one of those people that have been like, you know, they're going to tell me about it, but I still refuse to follow the Instagram or Twitter. That's okay.
Smash that follow button.
I respect that.
Wow, wow, wow.
We're not really very active anyway, so it doesn't matter. But we are on Instagram and Twitter if you care to look and see our little
Shit.
hints, reels. Nothing exciting really, but we'll tell you what we watched. It's at Flipper Flicks. I know it's like really hard to remember.
Revolutionary.
That's probably why you haven't followed us. It's just super hard to remember.
It's hard to find.
Yeah.
You're hard to find.
Speaking of hard to find, we're not, I don't think. But in case we were, we release episodes every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Spotify, Apple, Google. Again, I don't think we're hard to find, but maybe we are. We have a website called flipperflix.com. Again, super difficult. It's in the bowels of Google. You'll have to dig through a bunch of stuff to find it, but you can recommend movies for us, like this one. And I think we're getting low on recommendations, right, Adam?
Low in our terms of low.
Yeah, lower than we want to be. So can you please recommend some stuff on the website? That'd be great.
Or on Instagram or Twitter.
Oh, yeah, you can slide into the DMs.
Yeah, I just built a form and everything. You know, I did some hard work. Please go to the site.
Pandering.
I know, right? Right.
And I guess I'll let our third host
Whoa.
introduce themselves. What? What did I forget?
Whoa. It's his turn.
Oh, ha! Go.
Hi, I'm Tim.
Are you one of their people?
One of their people.
Are you one of the people?
I'm a person.
You're a people?
He's also
Hey, people.
drawing the distinction that he's
Yes.
not one of their people.
Do we already say this was a bonus episode? I don't...
Oh,
Nope.
shit. No, we didn't.
Nope. I was leaving that for Tim.
Hey.
Little nugget for you.
It's bonus episode.
Yeah. I was
Very
like,
good, very
wait,
good.
wait. Tim, do you remember what the category is? Bueller?
Nope.
Where's the crickets button?
It's not coming through right now. It is hot off the press.
And what does that
That makes
category
sense.
mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like a movie that just dropped.
Nice.
So we're recording this. I'm gonna edit it tomorrow, and it's gonna release on Thursday. So take that for what it is.
Fast turnaround.
Unfortunately for me, no, I'm just kidding. That's not too bad. Anyways, what movie did we watch, Tim?
We watched the newly released
Round
Prey.
3.
Prey on Hulu.
Not The Prey.
When did it come out?
The 5th.
So it is hot off the press.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because this is the type of movie that I would have watched anyway. So,
We're not there yet.
Sliding it in.
Spoilers.
well, you'll just edit that back the other direction.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yeah,
we watched
yeah.
Prey. Came out on Hulu. I think that's where all of the Predator movies, except for one, are.
Yeah,
Yeah, the newest
Um,
one. That's not
And
this
we'll
one.
get into that in a minute as well.
do it.
Yeah. So it's in Flipper Flicks years. This came out today, or and then like in
He's
real
referring
years,
to
it's
how, like-
August 5th or whatever.
Say real quick. Sam's confused, and as are the others.
I'll make more sense. Okay, so I'll put it better this way. Flipper Flicks years is we watched a movie last year, but it actually came out in 2018, and that's when we watched it.
Oh,
That's-
yes.
Yeah, like the Ballad of Buster
Example of
Scruggs.
That's Flipper Flicks years.
See, so Tim, I was there with you, but I could tell that
I know,
Sam
I
was
figured.
not.
I was like, wait a minute. What's
Flipper Flicks years
happening?
last about 5 years.
Ah,
Yeah, they're.
I
yeah.
mean, that's kind of accurate to our personalities, honestly.
I don't know.
Just get lost
I
for
feel
5
like
years.
I feel like I have a normal year base, 365.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm confused all of the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Prey, newest movie in the Predator series. Here's the synopsis for it.
Wait, I think I want to interrupt you one more time so that you can't read it yet. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, got it. Yeah. An all-new entry into the Predator franchises. We already said that. Set 300 years ago, tells the story of a young Comanche woman, a fierce and highly skilled warrior who stalks and ultimately confronts a highly evolved alien predator with a technically advanced arsenal. I always said technologically advanced.
I feel like
But
that
it
would have
would
made
be
sense.
the same thing. Wouldn't it probably fit better?
Yeah.
With a technically, isn't that the wrong? I mean,
Yeah,
I
it
guess
should be
fits.
technologically.
Who
Yeah.
writes these synopses?
Well,
Jeez, fired. Terrible
Vignette.
review. We're done. Don't watch it.
Adam's thinking.
No, I was just
I
trying
was
to.
pausing, giving you a way to.
I
say
know. I
those
was trying to
thoughts.
think. I was just trying to think. Like, can you use technically like that way? How is it spelled? Is it with 1 or 2 L's?
2 L's.
Okay, then yeah, it's proper.
I think that's the only way to spell it.
Nope, technically is 1 L. Like, I'm technically correct. Isn't spelled the same.
What? Wild.
I'm gonna Google this. You guys go on with your expectations.
Sure. Sam, go. Haha.
I lied. I can't spell worth shit.
I was gonna
I'm
say, I'm
math
pretty
good,
sure
I
that's
can't spell.
not right, but I didn't want to be like super aggressive
Yeah,
about it.
You know, I needed to see
Because
it.
canceled has like 1 L.
That is
or
both.
2
That is
Ls,
both.
and I hate it.
That's because of England doesn't understand how to use their language.
Yeah, and my word is always yelling at me.
It's
'cause
like
I
color.
Can't commit to one.
Who adds a U in color?
Anyway, expectations. How dare they? I saw the first Predator movie when I was a young warthog.
When I was a young warthog.
I want to say I was like below 13.
Okay.
Between
makes sense. Do you
0
know when
and
this-
13.
Do you know when the first one came out?
No.
1987. So you're fine.
Below 0 and 13. Wait, not below. Between. Anyway.
Sam wasn't even born yet, and she
I
was watching
fucking
this.
saw it in the womb. And I remember the first one, like, I really liked it, and I thought it was scary, because at the time, I was a young warthog. And we all saw Predators together, spoiler alert, in theaters.
Lols.
But I don't think I saw anything else, although I think Adam's gonna come in and be like, we watched Alien versus Predator, but I don't really remember.
Nope.
Okay.
I watched that with Steven.
Okay. I was like, I feel like I don't know. So I've only seen those 2 of the franchise. I was very interested in the Draco Malfoy the Predator, but then I heard it was terrible, and so I never ended up watching it because I don't know, I followed the sheep, I guess. So for this one, I was very excited because I have the Hulus, and they've been promoting it quite a bit, and I don't know. I was just interested to see how it aged. You know, like, could they do it good?
Can they do good at it?
Can they do it good?
Can do good? More better?
Yeah, or is it going to be terrible? Anyway, Adam?
I hadn't seen. Okay, so disclaimer: I hadn't seen Predator, like the 1987 Arnold Schwarzenegger one. But here's the thing: I live on the internet, so I know, like,
What happens?
it's like Forrest Gump all over again.
Yeah.
So I knew a lot of the shit.
It's so weird that there's like a movie culture online to where you don't have to watch the movie to know the entire movie.
Yeah. So Tim, the part where like Dylan and Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger, I couldn't remember the other one's Dutch. There we go.
Dutch, yeah.
They do the handshake is a huge meme.
Yeah, I didn't even know that that's what that was from.
Yeah.
And it's more, yeah.
It's
yeah.
like
I
blown
knew
up.
that. That's the one thing that I was like, I know that. I've actually seen the very ending of it beforehand, and then I rewatched it. I actually watched the whole thing with Sam.
Yeah,
before
we
we
got
watched
into a
this.
Predator mood.
But for this one, I was hyped. So we hadn't done a hot off of the press, and I was like, dude, can we do Prey? And I asked Sam that, and she's like, ask Tim. And I was like, dude, do you want to do Prey? And he was like, yes. So here we are doing.
Literally gonna watch it anyway.
I know. I knew you were. So I was trying to get ahead of it so that we could all
Yep.
discuss it like right away.
Yeah.
Right.
Because like we have a habit of being like, dude, I want to save that for the pod, and then we won't fucking watch it.
Right.
Just gets put in this weird
So-
section.
I didn't want to let that happen. Hence me bringing it up. But yeah, I was excited. It looked like it was going to be a somewhat different take on it,
Mhm.
but like not. I don't know. I just was
Right.
excited that it was not in a jungle. Is that weird?
No, I think that's fair.
And that is my first note. I'll shout out to that. But yeah, I was excited for it. How about you, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's well known at this point that I will watch a Predator movie
What?
or an Aliens movie, at the
Shocking.
drop of a hat. So
What about an Alien
I
versus
was-
Predator movie?
I will watch it.
Both of them?
I'll get into that.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need to give you the floor at one point.
I mean, I'll just deal with my expectations really. So my buddy and I at work, we had this running theory that every other Predator movie is good. So the first one's good. The second one was garbage. Save what's his face, Glover,
Danny Glover.
Um, Alien vs Predator was good. And good is just like a term of like
Enjoyable.
Yeah.
He would flip it on.
Good for the franchise. Yeah. The Requiem, the second one, was absolute trash. Predators was good. I like that one a lot. And then I never watched The Predator because I did not know it existed. And it did come out in 2018, and I talked to him about it. He said it's absolute trash. So at this point, now that I've seen Prey, I don't think I'm going to go back and watch that one.
You're not gonna go.
It's just it's a sunken
I-
cost. You've decided that you're never going to bother with it.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, if it was just sitting on Hulu like the rest of them, I probably would have watched.
Yeah,
it. But
exactly.
I didn't go through and like try to find it anywhere because I'm like, I'm not going to pay for it.
Next time
So-
on Flipper Flicks. Thanks, I hate it. The Predator.
Yeah, the Predator. So anyway, we'll get back to Prey. So yeah, this is interesting. From the moment it was announced, that's the first time I saw anything about it. I wasn't like, where's the next Predator movie? Looking stuff up like that. But I saw like a random thing about Prey, and I was like, oh, this seems cool. And then you see the synopsis for it, and I'm like, well, that's a little
Far-fetched.
It's not traditional necessarily, but that's whatever. Like, it doesn't bother me because it's like, traditionally, the women weren't like the fighters or whatever. So like this being, she's a fierce and highly skilled warrior. That part I was like, well, I wonder how they're going to do it because it's tough to say because obviously you can get the idea that before the movie starts, okay, if you understand the culture or whatever, the traditions of Native Americans, that women were not the fighters, right? Just like other cultures, though, warrior cultures, I'm sure they knew how to fight, they knew how to hunt, and there was definitely going to be outliers. So that's how I took the synopsis, is that she's an outlier. And then, without saying much more, I assumed that she'd be like the only person left to fight it. So those were kind of like my assumptions and my expectations going into it. This is a really long expectations.
That's okay.
Hashtag Tim Ray.
But
Yeah.
I was ready to watch it before it came out, so I was definitely hyped for this movie, and I was really, really hopeful that it would continue the trend and it would be the next good one.
Yeah.
And that being said, today I think I saw something that said it is the highest rated Predator movie.
Yeah, they've been changing
Wow.
the IMDb thing every
It's been
single
like
day.
flopping around, yeah.
So like
But
they,
I
they
just
on
thought that was interesting.
on IMDb, I checked it 2 days ago. It was like, this is the highest rated Predator film. It's
Mhm.
like on August 7th, it said that. And then on August 9th, it was like, today's August 9th. And then we're like, on August 9th, it is still currently the highest rated Predator film. I'm like,
Just
are you
keeping
are
you
you
guys
gonna
updated? Yeah.
are you guys gonna
Yeah.
keep updating this like daily? Like, this seems tedious.
Yeah. I
Like-
feel like you could like wait 6 months and be like, well, or just wait for it to drop if it ever does. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you don't
Yeah.
need to give by daily updates. Every other day is by daily.
Technically, yeah.
Sure.
I was like, that
Well,
doesn't
'cause,
sound
like-
right.
Technically.
yeah, with one L.
Yeah, with one L. No, so like, yeah, by daily probably isn't the right word, but it is. It would mean but twice a day or every other day.
Mhm.
Because bi-weekly is stupid and it means both.
Anyway,
Yes.
Same with biannual.
so where do we want to start with Prey?
I love that they are in the mountains
Yes, very cool.
Versus the jungle.
versus like the Amazon jungle again.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've only seen a few of them, but I do feel like at a certain point, like with every franchise, you risk just being overplayed and doing the same movie over again. So I think it was a nice change versus the jungle.
Well, even on top of that, it's like, how do you put Predator 300 years ago when they have laser weapons and stuff, right?
Right?
Yeah.
And so I guess that was another like expectation I had. I was like, they can't just do that. Like there's like I hope they show something where, this whole time they talk about how the Predator, if they lose, they evolve essentially.
Yep.
Or very rapidly adapt and stuff. So it's like I hope like it shows back in the day some different technology they had. But yeah, I agree with the change up to the mountains and everything. Like, they changed it up once at least where they were in the city, and that was
Requiem,
trash,
wasn't
it? No, that was the second one. Is
Oh,
when the Predator first goes to, like, the city, and it's just, oh god, I'm not gonna.
just doesn't make sense.
There's a lot of. We watched the ending of that,
It's
but I'll get to it
terrible.
later.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Tim, because I liked that it was like more primitive. You know what I mean? Like his lasers shot the like steel rods versus like a laser beam.
Which
yeah.
Here's my theory, Tim, with what you just said, is that would be their next upgrade.
The laser beam?
energy weapon?
Yeah, the laser beam being like a plasma cannon rather than the arrows.
Yeah. I don't know, because it's interesting because if you compare this one to like AVP, Predators are around for ancient cultures, right?
Yep. They've always been around.
Some of those, yeah. So, like in the beginning of this, she even says it's something about like a long time ago. It said that a creature or something, a monster
in our story tales.
Yeah. But 300 years ago, I mean, compare that to like Aztecs and stuff, where in AVP, the Predators have a hand in like all of the ancient, what are they called? Civilizations, and their weapons there, they come every 100 years and they do shit. And they have their energy weapons in those ones, and like the tomb or whatever. And it's like, so do they just throw their energy, like, their best weapon there, and then they go off that? So, I don't know. There's a lot of nuances I think I like to consider when it comes to this kind of stuff. I like to analyze, but.
Well, I did have a note about that too, is like he's both like primitive and not at the same time, because I don't know that we see, well, you'd know better than me, Tim, but like I don't remember him having like that whatever gas or thing that he did that basically like melts the wolf's skull. Like that feels like an advancement, and some of the other things that he had that like cut their legs off or whatever felt like an advance versus like the steel rods. You know what I mean? So it felt like he was both like evolved and not.
Yeah, that's why I was saying I think that would be the next stage.
Yeah.
That was my theory.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying with that. Like their next step would literally be when they got the energy weapons. I could see that. I could also part of me wants something different, because I was really happy that they did that with the weapons, how they changed his weapons and stuff, and like it was different enough to where you're like, okay, he's not just sniping them with energy weapons and chilling. Like he has a shield in this one. They've never had shields.
Dude, that fucking shield is
that
dope.
was sweet. I loved his mask. It was like a reinforced skull instead of like the regular Predator mask.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That's from Predators, dude. It's a river ghost skull. It's the skull from a creature that they kill in Predators.
Really?
Wild. Yeah.
Was it the little like praying mantis thing?
So when was the last time you watched Predators? Like, did you watch it recently? Okay, so you know how Topher Grace...
I watched all of them, coming up to this, but yeah.
Yeah, you know how Topher Grace is, he's the doctor, he's the one that runs. They use him as bait, and he's chased by something else. That's the river ghost.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's like a praying mantis thing. Okay, that's what I thought. Because it does look like that. Interesting. That's kind of cool.
I know, like the throwback.
Yeah. And
it's like such a small, it's a big detail and small detail.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I figured it was connected somewhere, but it's also be cool because I think like in that one they talk about two different predator races, which is kind of weird,
the smaller ones and
this
the bigger
one
ones
seems like the bigger ones, because the bigger ones seem uglier because his face is definitely different than other predators we've seen.
Yeah,
like his tendrils and shit are longer and whatever, and I really liked how they did the cloaking. So we'll go on, I guess we can just do a whole technology thing, because I will agree with the wolf thing where they do the spray thing. I always hated in the other ones. I think they were just, because of the era, they used weird shit to make them like
Invisible.
seem advanced and stuff. Yeah,
Mhm.
well, we'll get to the invisibility in a second, but like in the second one, to heal himself, he literally crunches up a bunch of fucking drywall and pours something shit in it, and then like heals his arm with it. I'm like, what? Like that? I hate that. That was stupid. But they always have like some kind of like first aid kit, and that makes sense. And then in this one, they show it's kind of in line with the other ones. It's just slightly different. It's like a
Yeah.
pen thing that he used, and he had like to
Yeah.
shake it, and I like that. So I think as these movies come out more, they're gonna get better with like making more sense as to what the predators are using, and it's gonna like kind of push out the old stuff and not be completely canon with the old stuff when it comes to like exactly what you're saying, the spray for the wolf skull thing. Like that makes
Mhm.
more sense that they would have had that the whole time
Yeah.
rather than they boil the fucking skull or something. But um
That was intense.
yeah, that was cool. But yeah, the cloaking I really enjoyed. That was one thing I was nitpicking this, but I really enjoyed what they did with it. It's very different from the other ones. The CGI for when he's invisible is still a little weird, but
So
but
here's
it's hard to do with outlines and shit and something that's technically translucent. I don't know.
so it's like kind of got a pattern, right? Is it
Mhm.
hexagons? It might be hexagons.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
So they purposely used a larger hexagon based pattern because it would allow for like if you're getting into technology, think about like a TV, you're going to get smaller and smaller pixels.
Mhm.
There would be
Right.
more. So right now they're at like 720p.
Right. They're not.
300
Yeah.
years ago they're in 720. Now they're in like
Mhm.
1080.
Ah.
Like in the
Yeah.
And then how it
Present
like
day
how it actually works, like stuff actually
can smell it.
reflects off of it and stuff, and like smell it. What?
He's just
I'll
being
get to
stupid.
it. No. I mean the
Oh.
animals can still fucking smell them.
Oh, well, yeah, the wolf.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The wolf and
Yeah.
the bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The snake and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought you were just
No,
going rogue
I
for a
was
minute.
like, no, they smelled them through the active camo.
No, you're right.
Well, I wouldn't. I mean, imagine that camo's always just been
Yeah.
a visual.
Yeah.
I'm
Well-
sure they'd develop a way to not
To
alert.
hide the
Yeah.
I was interested for this movie, like how they were gonna do the invisibility, because we rewatched the original, right? And I remember
Mhm.
when I was younger, like I remember it being like really wild that he could like turn invisible, and it was kind of like
Mhm.
scary, and like I was hoping that like it wouldn't end up cheesy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I didn't want it to end up cheesy. Like I wanted them to do a decent job with it, because I think that was like one of the original things, like from the main movie, right? Where it's like he's invisible, nobody can see him, and then like he only does the heat sensing stuff. And so I remember those feelings that I got in the first movie, and I was hoping, like, I feel like I haven't necessarily gotten that in the other ones. And maybe it's
Mhm.
because like the first one is the first one, you know what I mean? Like that's the
Right.
first time you're experiencing it. But like even rewatching Predators, you're like, oh, it's kind of the same movie. So I will say, like, I thought they did a really good job with the CGI, and I will say there were times in this movie where I could almost like jump back to like how I felt in the original one, like when he like basically kills the bear right next to her.
dude.
I was like shitting myself, like not literally,
like,
but I was like, I was so antsy, and I think part of it is also they did a decent job with the music. I think,
Oh my god, the music.
like it
Yes.
was very
good.
like
The music was
tense.
fucking magnificent.
Yeah.
I was in love with it. The
Yeah, music's
cinematography,
very
like I know we always consider ourselves unprofessional and whatnot, but the
Right.
cinematography in this, there were scenes that I was like, damn, that's a good scene. Like the mountain lion scene where she's on one side of the tree and the mountain lion's
Mhm.
on the other.
Mhm.
I'm like, that's a gorgeous scene.
Yeah, and I really liked the field scene because it was another moment where I was like shitting myself because he's booking it through
Dude.
the field.
was
Right.
like-
He's
compared
cruising.
to her.
He caught up so
It was
fast.
so
Yeah.
scary. Like I don't know. I'm getting like sweaty thinking about it. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think like I loved that they did the shot like over top. And then at one
Mhm.
point, like he catches the guy behind him, and you just see like the blood splatter really high
Right.
from top. Like I don't know. They just did a really good job with that.
Yeah. I think on top of that, they did a good job of making this kind of like refreshed a little bit from the first one, because in the first one, um, well, I mean, in monster movies in general, or like even aliens, you don't see it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think they like, yes, people know what a predator is, but they did a good job of like halfway through the movie, you haven't seen him.
Yeah.
You've seen like
You barely see him with the bear scene because he gets covered in blood. But everybody, like, I was antsy. I'm like, just show me him. I want to see him. I want to see what they did with him. And I know it's going to happen, but I'm like, I want to see it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like they did a really good job of. I had to come back and be like, you know what? No, I'm glad they held off. Like, he's this big thing out there. They don't know what it is. We're kind of like with them. We're like, what the heck is going on?
Mhm.
And I'm glad they made it kind of like an old monster movie, or like how monster movies are or should be. Is like it takes a second for them to, you have to figure it out. You're on your seat, the edge of your seat, trying to. I don't know. I thought that was really good choice of them. Instead of like just immediately showing, hey, look, it's a predator, and then like, oh, look, he's got this and that and whatever, and then like they
Yeah.
slowly introduced his weapons and stuff. Like I really liked his new staff, or his old staff, whatever, because in the newer or the more modern predators, I'll say, they have just like a throwing spear.
Yep.
But this one comes apart and he's got like a mace on the end of it, and like,
Dude,
yeah.
at one point he like dual wields.
Yeah, he does. He cuts the legs
Dude.
off the guy and smashes him in the chest at the same time.
Are you talking about the guy that stabbed him in the foot?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
He was pissed.
Dude, the Comanche Native Americans in this film, like, they knew how to fight. They were warriors. Like,
They were warriors. I mean,
but minus the dude that lost the fight to Naru, and then the only reason he won was
he's a
because
little pissed ant.
yeah, he was pissed that he didn't win. He wasn't the war chief.
Right.
Clearly,
Because her brother got it. Yeah.
her brother deserves it.
Yes, he does. His brother was badass.
Yeah.
Abe.
Yeah, dude
Abe
is
was
a
badass.
goddamn badass. Like,
Yeah.
like okay, you see him at first, you're like, oh, he's just the arrogant older brother,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and then you're like, oh, he comes back with a mountain lion. Yeah, cool.
Right.
Like this guy's got some. He's a bit able to hold himself because during the mountain lion scene, she's with another guy. He's like,
Yeah, like it's fucking
me and Tabe,
destroyed.
we're going to take it down. You're gonna be worthless.
Yeah.
And he's dead.
Yeah, just
Like, quite
ripped the
literally.
fuck. I was like, I wouldn't say I jumped from it, but I was surprised. Like I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, fuck.
Yeah, it was a good surprise scene because I was like, I was just into like the conversation they were having,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
even beforehand, I noticed like they have a scene where he's fuzzy, and the background behind him in the grass is not,
Yeah.
and I'm
I
like,
remember that.
okay, is like, because I was looking for that. I watched it twice, so I was looking
I'm
for it.
shocked.
On the second one, watch through, I was like, okay, is the lion there? Can I find the lion? I couldn't find it. It probably is, but I was like, that's a really good quick foreshadow that I didn't even notice first time. And it just like, bam, it happens. And you're like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
not expect that.
I remember that scene because I was thinking it like at that time, like you're orienting yourself in the world, I think, or at least I was. And so I was like, oh, it's going to be like the Predator. Cause like every time they do that in the other movies, you know what I mean? Like they see like a leaf move or whatever and it's the
Mhm.
Predator. So I was like, the Predator's going to come in and wreck this lion right in front of everybody or
Right?
something like that. But like it wouldn't shock me.
And
Right.
then she stabs it
Mm-hmm.
like when she falls, right?
She does, yeah.
Yeah.
I think she gets it with the spear a little bit.
Yeah, she just hits her head.
Mm-hmm.
Then Tabe fucking runs her back and then goes back out and kills it.
Yeah.
Like a goddamn badass.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they made a major mistake of you don't split the party.
Yeah, and don't
Yeah,
sorry,
no.
yeah.
But yeah, when they're like walking back, she had given him the orange flower and
Yeah.
the guy's freezing and one of the quotes I had was like, do you want him to be comfortable or alive?
Yeah.
Right.
And I was just like, nice. I respect the sass.
Yeah, she had some good sass.
She's extremely sassy.
Like- Do you want him to die? Because you're gonna kill him.
Right.
yeah, and I was.
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I wasn't expecting that flower to like. I didn't when I saw him go cold, like that didn't dawn on me that was gonna register the other guy and her as like unseeable on the thermal. Like that didn't even cross my mind. So I thought that was a nice surprise towards the end. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Fair.
It's weird because it acts really quickly, and if your body temperature, like, that's just not possible, right? Like, you're gonna produce some kind of heat, otherwise you're dead.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like, that's just not possible. But is it just as possible as a layer of mud covering you from a heat scan?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, realistically, neither one would work. Like, the mud may work for a second, but that's all it's because then it gets hot. Like
Mhm.
it's gonna
It's
come up to
gonna it's gonna eventually
It's not
come
gonna
off.
yeah, it's gonna come off, or it's just literally gonna raise to your body temperature. It's not gonna do much. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I can suspend belief for that. But I will say there's the part where she falls into quick mud
Dude,
or
the
whatever.
bog?
And
She falls into a
in my
bog.
yeah, a bog. And I was like, is that foreshadow? Is she gonna fucking fall in the mud again? And then all of a sudden, are we gonna do that again?
Yeah, that's
what
what
I
we
said.
were
Yeah,
saying.
we were talking
Yeah.
about that.
So
Yeah.
I was happy it wasn't that. I will say that. I was like, they're always, even in Predators, that technically they only did it like twice, whatever. But I will say I want more of, Predator movies, obviously. This one was a good direction. I want to see somebody somehow dig up information that this flower was used. And I want to see, like, what could happen, and this may be a few movies down the line, of like people are catching up to being able to fight the Predators with their technology. And see where the Predators go with it, because that would be very interesting. But
yeah,
That's not for a while.
that wouldn't be for a while. I'm just saying, like, in general, it'd be really cool if, like, in one of the movies, somebody's like, yeah, I made this tonic out of this flower to hide your heat signature from this creature that we know of, and this is that creature over there. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. The sad part is it'd probably be it'd be on the garbage cycle, and nobody would know that
Yeah.
it happened.
She's saying like on the bad cycle, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it'll be in the next movie, and then people will be like, why didn't you put it in the good one? That's just our luck, I think. But I was going to say, I do think, like, I thought the same thing when she fell in the bog. And it was another one of those moments where I was like, oh, is she going to... Because it was another one of those top shots where she's, like, almost submerged in the mud. And I'm like, is she going to die right here? Like,
right. Is she
Then
just...
then she like uses her inner scorpion and gets out.
So that was very tense. I was like, ooh.
Yep.
I did enjoy the hatchet with chain.
Yeah.
Or rope.
Yeah, that was cool. That was different.
I don't know how well that would work, but
Right. Yeah. I'm
suspension of belief.
Exactly. Some of it you just got to be like, all right, whatever,
Dude, this is just cool looking and accept it as it is.
Yeah.
But I that dog was amazing throughout the film. I just want to shout out to the dog.
He was so cute.
So when he's running back, like he gets the bear to chase him.
Mm-hmm.
Great dog. And then he comes back, right? He just shoots past her, barking, and I'm just like, he's like, let's get fucking out of here. Like, we gotta
like I'm
go.
imagining him being like, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
He's still following. He's still behind me. And you didn't run. You tried to shoot it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like she fired the arrow really far away, but
Yeah, but you also don't want it to like get too close. It's like
right, it is a bear. I mean, a big ass bear too.
Yeah. And I kept waiting. It's terrible, but I kept waiting for the dog to get like seriously injured.
Dude,
like,
right?
I know.
They kept teasing it. I'm glad they didn't.
Disclaimer,
like it was basically
the
just
dog
the tail.
survives.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the weird. Like, okay, the tail getting caught in the trap. Are you serious? But like, I'm okay with it because I don't want to see the dog hurt.
Exactly. Right. I was like, I feel like they were looking for a way to like injure the dog so that they wouldn't have to like fully have a problem. So they just get it over with right away with the tail cut.
Yep, they did.
Yeah.
That was great.
And it was a good foreshadow that the French Canadians were there.
Yeah, and
yeah, that was weird, but yeah.
I
mean,
took
it's not
it.
weird. I don't know why I said that because like at first I was like, oh, it's a trap, but that still seems a little archaic for. Yeah, I was like, it seems archaic for a predator.
Mm-hmm.
But too advanced for Native Americans at that time.
Right. Obviously, she didn't know what it was. She just figured it out on the spot. But yeah, that was a dream. I didn't catch on to the idea that the French Canadians there
didn't
for a
either.
while.
The Quebecois.
Because even at the buffalo scene when she picks up the cigar,
yeah.
I was confused. I was like, was that the same thing that he used on the wolf head?
That's what I thought.
Well, I'm walking around
But
like,
why
is
did he
Dennis
kill
Reynolds
a
the
bunch of
predator?
buffalo?
I was like, is Dennis Reynolds the bison? Like, is he the predator? Like, just skinning
Right.
things?
No, I thought there
Yeah.
was another predator because I was like, we didn't see
Ooh, that
him.
would've been interesting.
We didn't see him kill these, so I was like, is there more than one out
Right.
there again?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah,
I
that
did find
goes
it
over my head.
cool. Right. I was like, well, I analyzed the predator or whatever, and I'm like, that is not how a predator would act.
No,
So I
they
thought
don't
they made
kill
a
to
huge
kill.
mistake. Yeah, I was like, what the hell? I mean, they even showed it in the beginning when the predator is just sitting there. Like, I really liked that they had him just kind of like analyzing animals and stuff,
Mhm.
because he was just like sitting there, and like the ant crawls on him, and then the little mouse eats it. He doesn't care about that. And then the snake kills it, and then he realizes, he knows the snake's a predator. Snake tries to kill him. Then he skins it and whatever, and then he goes after the wolf and the bear and stuff, obviously, as he would.
Mhm.
And then and then also in the buffalo scene, you're like, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
So
And I think the cigar was the thing that was supposed to give us like, oh, this isn't
it
Yeah.
actually.
was, but it didn't seem like a cigar.
I know.
I know.
I didn't know it was a cigar until like I was
I didn't
reading the
either.
facts, and it was like, oh, the cigar's a nod to Dutch because of Arnold always smoking
Right.
a cigar.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
was whooshed on that.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
just
Yeah.
watched that film.
Right.
Um,
Well, I mean, even the predator picks it up and looks at it, and I didn't catch on then.
Yeah. Same.
I was like, why
I
are you
was
looking
like,
at your
why
own
is
work,
he-
bro?
Yeah. But then on to Sam's point, it's like, is it another predator?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
that's weird. Are they still finding their way? And then like this is like a smaller predator that's out here just killing shit. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm glad she literally says it though. You killed the buffalo, and I was like, oh, okay. That makes sense now.
That line is literally for us as viewers to be
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
oh.
Who did this whoosh over? Those three? Okay,
Right,
here's this
yeah.
line for them.
It's funny because I'm usually mad at that kind of stuff. I'm like, come on, really?
don't need
But,
to
like,
write
I
things
didn't know in
out.
this one.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't. I catch things sometimes, but I don't know.
So, real
That's
quick,
funny.
on the Predator, Tim, did you realize that this Predator is 5.5 inches shorter than the original?
No.
Yeah. He's a smaller one than
He's
the original.
smaller.
I'm
but-
just kidding. The actor is 7'2" in the first one, and this one's only
Holy
6'9".
Yeah.
shit.
I was gonna say in the first one they had some tall ass dude.
6'9" is still tall.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
7'2" taller.
7'2" is taller.
Okay.
But
So normally I'm
Yeah.
not I enjoy callback lines sometimes, and like it depends.
Mhm.
I actually thought they did a good job with this one, where Naru and what's her brother's name? Tabe?
Tabe, yeah.
Tabe are like tied up, and he's like, if it bleeds, we can kill it.
Right, yeah.
I was like, that fits his character. That doesn't seem like out of character for him
No, it
to
doesn't.
say. So I was like, while it's kind of cheesy to do a callback, I was like, it's fitting.
And I don't think they made it overly dramatic. Like, it was basically them just kind of like,
They kind of just say it.
they were like talking through like strategy for killing it. So I feel
Right.
like it fit in that scene without feeling like,
Yeah, I didn't.
They
Right,
said
like,
it.
oh,
yeah.
yep.
They were like, they didn't like zoom in on his face. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
He just kind of says
It could have been much worse.
Oh yeah, but the way they escape the tied up thing, like when they were tied to the stump,
Right.
hmm
she's going on the story about the was it a bee? It was the beaver who gnawed its leg
Yeah.
off.
Right.
Except I'm smarter than a beaver.
I'm
Yeah, I thought that
smarter
was
than
funny.
Beaver, yeah.
It's like
Yeah. It's interesting.
I enjoyed.
She was
the line.
very like
sassy.
quick. Yeah, but she was very smart, I guess, because she figured things out very quickly about the predator in general, which kind of makes sense for somebody that would have to be able to beat it.
hmm
Yeah,
Because otherwise, you have Tabe who's going hand-to-hand combat with it. That's what he's going to do.
and yeah.
But she had to think about like she was a thinker, so she was able to.
Well, Tabe
That's
even
how she
straight up
figured out
says
that-
that. He's like, "You catch everything I miss."
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, which is good. Because at first, like, it was kind of weird. I wasn't sure how I felt about her. She just seemed like out of place compared to everyone else, but now it makes more sense because she is like she beats she eventually beats Predator, but and so that's what it took was like some person that's completely out of left field compared to everyone else in the culture. But
And I'm pretty sure the big hunt, I forget what the Comanche word for it.
mhm.
I think that was a real thing. They actually.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was. They did a really good job with because I saw another thing about you could watch this in Comanche.
Dude, I'm pissed. I didn't know that before I watched it.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna have to go back and watch it
That's
all
what
in
we
Comanche
said.
now.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna have to go watch it in Comanche.
Yeah,
Twist
because
my
that
arm.
sounds awesome. But,
They redid all. They did all of the scenes. It's not like it was just dubbed over. They did.
Right.
They did the movie twice.
yeah,
Nice.
which is crazy. But
I mean,
I also like that we didn't get subtitles for the French Canadians.
dude, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
Apparently, the French speakers were like, their French is terrible.
I mean,
Because the
come
French,
on, it's 300 years ago.
well, and French Canadian is different than French.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, yeah, and they were like, okay, but some of it was sloppy, and I was like,
Come on.
Whatever.
come on.
They're literally like
This is Reddit
not-
though, dude. So
Yeah, they're what do you call them? Poachers. Like, would you expect them to have proper?
Yeah,
Just-
exactly.
You know,
just
like,
think of
come
a
on.
redneck.
Yeah, there you go. Oh man.
Dude, I love how
Shit.
she like tricked the bigger one, like the bearded guy,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like into thinking he had a gun. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, you knew he didn't like it
Yeah.
wasn't gonna work. She had figured it out. Like she had a gun at that point. She understood how they function, so she has the mind to know how to make it not function correctly.
I know. I liked that they literally had a guy explain it to her. Like, this is how you refill it. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
like normally I feel like movies just are like, they're fucking smart, they figure it out.
Yeah. They
Right.
100% are. They're like, oh, they'll just figure it out.
And she fucked up
Nah.
the first time.
Mm-hmm.
She did, which I liked as well.
I know.
Yeah.
It was like they thought about like each action the characters took, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm into that. And then Tabe comes and just is a fucking badass. So
Mhm.
much he's fighting the Predator 1v1 that the Predator had to go back into cloak mode to take back the advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think in this one they showed that the Predators kind of, in this one at least, was it. I think it liked to see what things could do before it decided just to kill them. Like at
Yeah.
times it would get annoyed. So like with the bear and stuff, it's just seeing, or like even the wolf. The wolf bites him and he bleeds for a second, and then he's like, all right, I'm done, and he kills it. And like
Yeah.
the bear, he's fighting with the bear. Bear knocks him down in the water, or whatever. He gets up, and he just fucking punches it and guts it. And you're just like, okay. And it's he does the same thing with the people. He's like fucking with them, and then when they hurt him, that's when he kills them. Like he's like could easily just kill things, but he
Yeah.
wants to see
Yeah.
what they're capable of first, which I thought was very interesting. Which is also what I think ends
Killed
up
him.
being his downfall, because he gets fucking severely hurt before he
Yeah.
decides to
Yeah.
kill Tabe, or even, I mean, he gets speared and shit, and then like even the fight with her, he kind of like is doing shit, and to her credit though, she outsmarts the shit out of him. But
Yeah, she notices like the three dots end up shooting three arrows,
Mm-hmm.
which
and then they go back to where they
yeah, they follow the dots.
hmm
Hey, so you're an idiot and you're in the bog, and I put that thing so it'll hit you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got you, and
And-
then it barely turns in front of her face.
Yeah. And there's this moment of his confusion, which is classic.
That was funny,
Like,
but I'm not sure I liked it.
oh, I loved it. I was like, this is great. Like, he's actually confused. I dig
What
it.
the-
I feel like he
What?
would have seen it and went, "Oh, I know what that does," and known to move.
He couldn't
In
move.
my
He was in the
opinion.
bog.
Well, yeah, but he just like turns his head and it drills him in the face. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but it could also be that it's slowed down to where we can see it happening, and it's happening in their time so fast that he turns, sees it, and he's dead. Right? Like he does the whole head thing and is like doesn't realize what it is at first, and then he's dead.
Yeah.
So
Well-
I give it a pass.
Oh yeah, and like during that scene, like the setup for that scene, they had this like slow snowfall, and I
Mhm.
was like, This is just beautiful.
I know there was so much
The
on
ambiance.
yeah, there was so much about this, like especially at the beginning too, where you're just like, this is just a really pretty movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, how is the fuck is this the Predator movie that is not in theaters?
That's a good question. I don't
Yeah.
have an answer for that.
I think it's because the last Predator, fucked it over.
Probably.
I don't even know if did that one go in theaters. I have no
Yeah.
idea.
It did.
Yikes.
This is the first streaming exclusive, and Hulu got it. Like, I don't know.
Well, he just seems to have them all.
Yeah, that's
for
what
that
I was
one.
thinking.
Well, that makes sense because they're 20th Century, which is owned by
Right.
Disney, who owns the majority share of Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes all logical sense.
Yeah.
Except for the Predator, which is weird. But yeah, I think that one busting so hard that we got this one on streaming, which I'm not 100% against.
Yeah.
Because I got to watch it for something I'm already paying for.
Right. Yeah.
But it would have looked nice in like
Oh.
Dolby in theaters.
Oh, it would look so
They got
good.
screwed a little bit.
Oh, and just like that sound, the
Mm.
music. I loved the music. I looked up the
Music was fantastic.
composer. What is the composer's name? Sarah Shockner. I'm showing Sam it because I can't read it.
Yeah, Shockner maybe.
Shockner. But like,
Shackner.
she did movies like Lazarus Effect, Iron Man 3, Now You See Me. Like,
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't say that those are like this blows it.
Amazing.
Like, I'm not saying they're bad soundtracks or anything, because they're probably good. If I go back to them, I'm probably like, oh damn, nice. But like this one just,
Jumped out at
yeah, it did.
you.
Did you watch the credits, Tim?
A little bit of like the paintings and stuff.
Yeah, like the artwork.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the Predator, like in Predator 2, so I only know one thing about Predator 2, is that at the end of Predator 2, they hand Danny Glover a pistol,
Correct.
which is the exact same pistol as the pistol she is given.
Once you learn how to shoot. Yep.
Mhm.
So the running theory right now is that apparently in the Comanche culture, they don't just take gifts, they always trade.
Mm-hmm.
So they believe that there's going to be like an exchange
At some point.
at some point, like when
With
they
the
come.
predators,
Yeah, and they
it would have been
take the gun.
interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
They take the gun and they give her something for
Yeah.
winning.
I feel like they would have done that in this one though, because it would
I
feel out
know.
of place in another one, unless it's further down the line and she's like older and stuff, which would be kind of cool. Because usually in the films, there's other predators watching the whole time. They quite literally are just watching,
Yeah,
and they let happen what happens, and they move on regardless of the results. So it would have been interesting had there been other ones that like uncloaked themselves in front of the tribe or some shit, and they do like a trade there.
yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, I've been trying to figure out how that weapon would last as long as it did without, getting tarnished essentially, and then being in the shape that it was in Predator 2, because it's
Yeah.
quite literally
The same.
the same.
Yeah.
Like,
We just
so-
watched that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't, if they had it for 300 years, it wouldn't have been as preserved, in my opinion.
Right.
So, yeah, that's interesting that they didn't. I don't know how the predators end up with it. Maybe we'll see that later on, or
I wrote at the end of that, before I knew they did the thing in Predator 2, I wrote sequel question mark.
yeah,
I know that the tribe could not handle any more of them. Like, yeah, she beat
Right.
one, but she's not beating them.
my guess is because predators are every 100 years, usually, depending. It'll be 100 years later. Somehow that weapon is still there, and the predators probably win in the next one. But
I
that's
want
my
the
guess, and then
Predators
they
to
take
win.
that. I do too. I want one where they win, but
I just
I think
want complete annihilation.
it would be interesting. Like, they literally, like, a predator that shows up and is just like, you can't stop it, right? Like it just literally annihilates everyone. Which technically in the older ones, that's what the stories are about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or like even in this one, that's what the stories are about. Because if you think about it, this is kind of like their initiation. Like predators, you're not a predator until you finish your initiation, which is kind of like this thing, and then you're into like it's kind of like
In the club.
yeah, it's like you're whatever, how you're finally part of the society or something. Like you get to a certain age, you do this. It's kind of like their hunt thing, right?
I was gonna say it's
Yeah.
probably
It's
equivalent.
it's something like that. But I don't know. I would like to see one that just completely succeeds.
Yeah.
And maybe that's one that shows up 100 years later with an energy weapon and just blasts everyone. It's like, well, that worked. Like
We're
Yeah.
keeping this.
yeah.
Well, I kind of
Guys,
like.
this one's the best. Yeah.
I like the idea of like basically doing like not the same story, but like you have like a main character, right? But he or she ends up losing
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
the end, and you just hear him roar.
Right. You think like
And then it
like
goes
they
black.
have the upper hand or something. You're like, oh, they're gonna win, and then all of a sudden they're just dead, and you're just like, oh, well, yep. And then the predator is just like there, like get fucked, nerd.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I want. Like
would
he
be
does
great.
like the beat, like the roar that he has,
Mm-hmm.
like fuck yeah roar, and then it just
No, I
kind of
would love
fades
that.
to black.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To show that they actually, because they're supposed to be advanced and like stronger and
And
all
they
this shit,
always
but we keep beating them.
lose.
Yeah.
But again, culturally, in that they hint at like the creatures are around and they fucking, they win.
They normally
usually.
win.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's just
But I
we
wanna
watch
see
all their
one.
losses. We see all their
Right.
losses.
Yeah.
We don't get the highlight reel.
Yeah,
Right.
we need that. We need to get the Sports Center top 10.
Yeah.
And we're getting like they're like garbage ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a word for it, but I don't watch Sports Center, and I haven't watched it in like 10 years. So, and I'm pretty sure Sam hasn't watched it, and Tim hasn't watched it. So,
Correct.
Yeah.
Dota made it on there once. That was awkward.
Whoa.
They're like, "Yeah, that's a thing," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" Just let the casters, just don't bother speaking through it.
Nice.
But with this movie, I'm trying to go through my notes, and I think I am out of notes.
I have one from, it's kind of towards the beginning of the movie. So she first sets out to kill it,
Mhm.
and she breaks the stick to like measure its foot. And I was like,
Yeah.
bruh, like, how did you guys think that it was a bear? Like, it's fucking massive.
Right?
Because like until she does that, it's like, oh, okay, like you see
Right.
the track on the ground and like, yeah, it looks big, but like until she does that, it's like, god damn, how
It's
did you
hinted
guys
that
think
she's-
that?
It's hinted that she's the best tracker, though.
Yeah, but still, like they like roll up and they're like, ah, yeah, that's like a bear print, and I'm like, if I saw a print that big, I would not be like, that's a bear. Like, I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
We need to
It's
get the
too
fuck
the
out of
shape and
here.
everything. Yeah, it's kind of weird that they would have considered it to be bear print, but I agree. Like it's the length of her arm. Like
Yeah, it's wild. So I don't
it's
know.
Like, come on.
I thought that was a good detail though, because like until then you're kind of like, well, I guess they think it's a bear, like whatever. And then when you
Right.
see that, you're like, holy shit, that thing's big.
Holy shit!
Holy shit, that's like my whole arm.
All right, Tim. What else you got?
Let's see. I thought it was weird that he stepped in a trap.
Like a bear trap?
Yeah, he steps in one of the traps that the French
Trappers
Canadians set up.
trap with?
Yeah, and I thought that was weird because he kind of like navigates right past a couple of, like he just
So-
walks by and he doesn't step in like a bunch of them. But
So the reason
again-
is he didn't watch Elementary
oh shit, you're right.
because there are lots of bear traps in that one, Sam.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the demons always walk in the bear traps.
They always step in the bear traps.
And
Yeah,
that was
you're
his
right.
biggest weakness.
Getting too cocky.
Getting too cocky.
He's
And
like,
then-
I avoided all of those fucking bear traps, and then, oh shit,
God damn it.
there's another one.
It's like when people step on rakes and they smack them in the face. They
Right.
just keep doing it.
At one point, you're like, come on, guys, get it together.
All right, so what else you got?
That's it for me.
I'll get to the cast. So I just want to say that the main cast, so everybody in the tribe, was actually Native American, which I think is pretty cool.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I read something like the whole cast is Native American, and then I was like, And then we watch the movie and I see all the French Canadians and I'm like, well, they're not. And then you realize that they're talking like, the main cast that would make logical sense. Yeah, but they actually had somebody on set to make sure like they kept the cultural, right? Like cultural
nice.
things.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but Naru is played by Amber Mid Thunder. She's in Hell or High Water.
Oh, nice.
Don't know who she is. Sam
I
loves that
haven't seen that.
movie.
It's a good movie.
It's a Tim movie, but he hasn't seen it.
I know.
Tabe is played by Dakota Beavers. This is his first film.
You did good.
I liked him.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Show me
really
more. The Predator is played by Dane Dillard. He's in American Horror Stories, and that just makes logical sense to me.
Yeah, they need tall people for that too.
Yeah. I feel like that's like an interesting market. Like you can be really tall and just do monster movies.
Yeah.
I mean, like David Prowse, like I brought up a while ago, was Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He was tall as shit. Wasape, he is kind of like, he's the moody one who loses the fight to Naru. I say he lost the fight just because he needed somebody else to partake in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lost.
He's played by Stormy Kip, and he's in Suyi. Then Aruka, their mom, is played by Michelle Thrush. She's in Pathfinder, which I feel like I know what that is, but I couldn't. I also was like, maybe I don't.
It's like a show on Netflix, isn't it? I think it's a show, right?
Oh, I don't remember, but it looked familiar. The director is, Dan Trachtenberg. I think Trachtenberg. He did
Still a new one.
Yeah, he did 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yes, because the trailer says
okay.
that.
Yeah.
I forgot.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Oh, and real quick, so when Sam and I were watching something on Hulu, it was before it was like in between this movie getting released and us watching it for the pod. So I did a little dance in front of it.
Predators.
We were watching Predators and they showed an ad for Prey. And Sam's like, oh no, I don't want to watch it. So I just stood up in front of it.
Yes, you did a good job of blocking it.
But the critics scores, they gave it a 92%.
Dang.
The audience gave it an 81%, IMDb with a 7.3 out of 10, and Googly Ooglies is an 89%.
Wait, so it's the highest Predator movie on IMDb with a 7.3?
Now, well, I think I know that they have the highest critics score right now on Rotten Tomatoes,
Right.
Oh,
but the audience score is higher for Predator, interestingly enough. But as far as IMDb goes, Prey.
it was on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
For some
yeah,
reason,
yeah,
I thought
yeah.
it was on IMDb.
Well, yeah, it's not higher on IMDb.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Anyways, very high scores.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like I said before, I wish that I could see this in a movie theater.
Mhm.
This is one that like I feel there are movies in my opinion that deserve to be seen in theaters. Typically movies like this, action films, but like comedies or animated kids films, I can kind of watch at home and I'm not like I'm losing out.
Mm-hmm.
This is one I wish I could see.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to flip it on. I liked it. I want to go watch it in the Native American dub.
Mm-hmm.
I do too.
All right, Tim, how about you?
Oh yeah, this is top 3 for me. I mean, in Predator movies, this is a definite flip on. I was not pleasantly. What am I trying to say?
You were
I
just
was
happy.
pleased that my predictions were correct.
Yeah.
That, it was going to be good, and it wasn't trash like The Predator, which I have not seen.
I was
Which
gonna
I feel
say
like I have to watch.
you have
but,
to make sure.
I feel like I'm going to hate it so much, but I'll
Maybe
have to watch
so
it.
you're going to subvert your expectations. You're basically going to assume you're going to hate it and then you're like it's not that bad.
Yeah, I usually don't do that to myself though. So.
It happens to a lot of people. That's why I was just
I
making
know.
that joke.
No, it could very well happen.
Sorry.
No, I mean, there's not much else to say for this. I think there's not really a lot to nitpick on this, in my opinion.
Sit
like
down
the little
and
bits
enjoy
that I
it,
had
damn
issues
it.
with were just no different than the other ones. I think they're doing the right thing in the direction they're going with the technology and everything like that. And I'm glad they did switch it up. I really enjoyed seeing what the Predator looked like. I think they made it a great monster movie and not just a Predator movie. So like if a new generation of people have not seen Predator movies and they see this, it's gonna be like the first one. for them. First one was fantastic. Obviously launched a franchise. I think this one's going to continue that.
And before Sam talks, I just want to fall back, be like, still one of my favorite Predator designs I've ever seen, with the
This
fucking
one?
skull.
Yeah, no, I love that.
He looked so much more feral, and I was like,
Yeah, I really like the Predator's mask, even though it's very strange because of how they take them off.
yeah,
Pressure sealed, but they're not actually fully enclosed. Fucking strange to me. But whatever, it's alien technology. But yeah, this one's really cool because it shows the mandibles and stuff and everything. And yeah, I agree. This is one of my favorite designs of a Predator. And I'm looking forward to another one. And I hate that I now am going to be on the edge of my seat waiting for another one because this one kind of came out of nowhere.
right?
I just hope it's not rushed, and it's if it's the same people making it and whatever, fantastic, because this one was great. So let's see what they bring next. But this is a definite watch. Flip on.
Nice. I am also going to flip it on.
What? You only had high praise for it.
I know, shocking. I'm trying to think of points that you all didn't make. I think for me, like, what hits home is that, like, as movies get older, they age, right? And so, like, rewatching Predator in some ways kind of is a letdown because you, like, already know the story and how it's going to pan out. And, like, I think part of the fun of the original Predator was that, like, it was all new and, like, at least for me at that time, like, it was just the way that they did it was like kind of crazy. It's like Alien, right? Like the way that you do it or you like, I don't know, just the way that you execute it is like something completely different and not what the audience is expecting. And that's why people love it. And so like, as you start to make more of these movies, it's hard to continue to hit that surprise level. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think this one did a really great job of it because there's stuff that you're not expecting and they put a nice turn on it. And then you get the same feelings as you did of the original. And like in a lot of ways, there's going to be, I personally, like I think it's teetering on the age of it not quite delivering what it needs to. So this one kind of ushers it into a new age of like, if you're going to like want to get hooked into the Predator franchise, like this is going to be more accessible for people that can't get like CGI, you know what I mean? Like at a certain point a movie ages, and I think like this is a great one that kind of like segues you into the franchise and then you can appreciate the older one. So I think it'll just continue to propel forward. And I liked that it gave me like all the original vibes of the first one, and I was like actually scared and like tense and stuff like that.
Yeah. And before we close up, Tim, you brought up the mandibles.
Yeah.
And I forgot about this note that I was reading. So I was reading all this shit about the original Predator. So Stan Winston, he is the guy who designed the Predator. He's the guy who made it. Apparently he was on a flight with James Cameron. As we all know, he did Alien. Apparently he was sitting next to him, showing him some concept art. Winston was showing Cameron it. And Cameron goes to him, he's like, I always wanted to see something with mandibles. And now we have mandibles on our Predator.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's kind
so
of a funny,
creepy.
like weird, like kind of an interesting little story. Like, oh, these two guys just were on a plane talking
Right.
About mandibles.
about mandibles. It was a long flight. It was from Japan, so I kind of get it.
There you go. Plenty of time to discuss.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, 3 flip-ons on the hot off the press. That was the words.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, now what?
Do we spin?
No.
Oh.
It just kind of ends.